There's a lot of preparation that goes into deer hunts before the shot. And for me, it all starts with the trail camera. Now, to get successful trail camera pictures, I follow a simple 7-step process. Step number 1 is to make sure you place your camera in a good location. Now, in early season and late season hunts, typically that's going to be around food sources. Whether it's a feeder or a cut cornfield or a cut bean field, someplace that's going to get you a lot of traffic is going to be good. Now, if we're in the rut, food sources are not nearly as important. That's when I'm going to set my trail cameras over scrapes and over rubs, things like that the bucks frequent when they're rutting. Step number 2 is access. You want to make sure that you have easy access to your trail cameras when you're going and coming to check them. I like to have mine somewhere on field edges or easy access areas where I'm not disturbing the bedding of the deer or the feeding of the deer when I'm going in and out. The third thing you want to pay attention to is positioning of the camera. Now, basic photography rules state that you never want to take photos directly into the sunlight. The same applies for trail cameras. I always try and quarter my camera to the north or the south and avoid east and west directions that are going to obscure or cause faulty images. The other thing you want to make sure is that the height is correct. I always try and position the camera where it's somewhere around the eye level of the deer, which is just above the waistline on most people. The fourth thing that you really want to pay attention to is the camera setup. There's nothing worse than leaving a camera in a prime spot for 2 or 3 weeks and you get back and there's no photos. You can alleviate a lot of your headaches with a little preparation. Number 1, I always make sure that my time and date are set correctly so I can pattern the deer. Secondly, is you want to make sure you always have fresh batteries. Battery life is also critical. But the third thing that a lot of people overlook a lot is the SD card. It has to be formatted in the camera. If it's not formatted to the camera, a lot of times the pictures won't write to the SD card. The fifth thing I like to do is to try and set up specific spots that are going to get high traffic by the deer. And a lot of times you can do that with minerals or attractant. There's a lot of different minerals out there, a lot of different attractants, and one that works amazingly well is the standard corn. Corn brings deer as well as anything I know, but that will give you a focal point for your pictures. Even if the deer aren't really feeding or if the bucks are in a rutting mode, they're still going to cruise through checking for does that might have been feeding there prior. So attractants can be very important. The sixth point I want to make is the fact that we all get amped up, particularly when the rut is on, and want to go in almost every day and check our trail cameras. Probably not the best idea in the world. Anytime you go into an area and come out of an area, you're leaving a lot of scent and you're disrupting it. Try and exercise self-restraint and check your camera sparingly, at least a week apart if you can. Sometimes I like to leave them in there as long as 2 weeks in the early season. Restraint is important. The final piece of the puzzle when it comes to getting great trail camera pictures is scent control. Try and follow the same practices you use when you're hunting. Wear rubber boots, spray down with scent eliminator, and not only on your boots and on your body, but actually on the camera after you've handled it. I think that is really important. If you follow these 7 tips, I promise you'll get great trail camera pictures that'll help lead up to that perfect shot. For more tips and information on whitetails, go to whitetailexperience.com.